we have this very special guest. I don't want to make you guys wait. You've waited long enough. It has been over a week since we've had a guest on the show, and we have another one next week lined up for you, but none more important than today's guest, Mr. Ray Higdon, right? Now, as Grady said, unless you're living under a rock, you probably know who this guy is. We are honored, we are humbled to have him on our Facebook Live to share his knowledge, to share his experiences. And that's what we're about, is working with one another and trying to find a common ground to help you and your business grow, no matter what business or company you're in. But guys, before we bring him on, let me tell you a little bit about Ray Higdon, okay? Ray is a 2-time best-selling author, former #1 income earner in a network marketing company. And I say former, and I'll explain why. That he joined, while his life was a little bit tighter while he was in foreclosure. He shared the stage, with Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Robert Kiyosaki, many, many more leaders. So he is up there in this higher echelon of trainers that have shared the stage with the big, big brands. And I personally believe Ray Higdon is a big brand himself, but he and his wife no longer build network marketing because they want to focus and serve the profession by doing coaching, speakings, and trainings, right? Their coaching company was recognized this year, 2017, on the Inc. 5000 list as one of the highest and fastest growing companies in America. Now, they love helping network marketers grow. That's their passion. They help them grow large teams. They help them create financial freedom for themselves and their lives. So, guys, we are very honored to have Ray Higdon. Now, we're going to do this one a little bit different. As you guys may have known in our previous ones, we had Max Knowles come on, 7-figure earner. He did a nice PowerPoint presentation. It was fantastic. You could find it in our lives below. We had John and Nadia Melton come on, who taught you all about their ATM method. We had Mr. Rob Sperry come on. We had A. Weber Corporate come on and do the training for the email side. So we are working on getting you the highest of the highest, pretty much trainers, people in our space to come deliver that message. But guys, go grab your notepad and pen and paper, because today we're doing it a little bit of interview style. We have a bunch of questions prepped for Ray, and a lot of those questions came from you guys, our members in our group. So if you're not in our group, go join that already too. So Grady, did I give you enough time? Did I fill you enough time to do all the things you did?
I think I'm good. I got all the battle station man, got the shares appropriated, and we're doing solid. Got about 80 people on. We'll have another pop on in a minute. I'm going to send another push right now to alert all of our users. That's one of the cool features that, we get to kind of take advantage of, is utilizing our own mobile app and letting our people know when we're doing live trainings. And so pretty fun in that regard. But I'm excited about this. You
grew up in the network marketing profession.
I cut my teeth in network marketing, and I absolutely loved it. I had a fantastic time, and that's what brought us together 4 fateful years ago. And now here we are 4 amazing years later, rocking and rolling. But I've actually, what's so crazy, and so many of you guys, a lot of our users are very new to just entrepreneurship, are very new to network marketing, are very new to the idea of creating their own income and their own income streams based on their own efforts. Most people have jobs, most people have jobs, most grandparents had jobs. And so that's just, you kind of follow suit. And now here we live in a day and age when you can get associated with a great company who markets a healthy line of products or great services and market them to people who already purchase products like that and reallocate those dollars and start to generate your own income. And so in the industry as a whole, it's constantly evolving. And what's great is to see people like Ray who defend it, people like Ray who teach the correct investment principles. And I've been a subscriber. I've been on Ray's. I've probably received over 2,000 emails from Ray. And so as we talk about email marketing in sort of our business world, Ray is someone who rings true in that message. He's built the tribe around him. He creates great content on a daily basis. And we'll get him to kind of delve into that here in a little bit. I
almost feel weird calling him Ray. Like I should almost call him like Mr. Higdon. Like this guy's like the professor, right? He's going to bring you guys some great information, teach you a little bit about where he got and how he got to where he is today. Because in the end, guys, you must realize Grady, myself, Ray Higdon, Nadia Melton, John Melton, we're normal people. Like we're good, genuine people who work very hard at our craft to become the professional, right? We put in the time, we put in the effort, but there's no saying that can't be you. You just need to make that decision for yourself and turn that switch on. But Grady, Let's get
Let's
Mr.
do it.
Ray.
You guys are ready. Let us know. Say I'm ready. Let's see some Rays in the comment. Ray and exclamation point. Let's see RAY exclamation point in the comments below as we cheer Ray on and bring him on here and introduce him to the online sales pro community that we are so proud of.
What I think he's doing, which we're going to talk about in the interview, which is fantastic, is this new thing that he's doing with this group training stuff. So
yeah,
stay tuned, everyone.
We'll talk more about that as the training progresses, but that's super exciting what he's created over there. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of Rays getting commented up. Good to see over 100 people on here now. Click that share button down in the bottom corner if you haven't done so already. Click that share button out on your private personal wall, any groups you're a part of, or any business pages, and get ready for a great show. Here comes Ray.
I love this part. Hey, Ray, can you hear us okay?
I can, man. All those nice things. My goodness. I owe you guys some commissions or something.
No. We're just here to try and help our people, and we're happy for you to, be able to join us and take a couple minutes of your busy day, because I'm excited about today's show because, we're just going to hang out. We're going to talk. We're going to ask you a couple questions and see how, you may be able to provide some value and good content to our members. But most importantly, before we get into it, who is Ray Higdon? For those people that may not know, how'd you get started? Talk me through how we got to today.
Yeah, sure. And honored to be on here. So, I'm someone that, like many people, I've had a lot of different obstacles in my life. Parents got divorced early on. Didn't grow up with the greatest childhood, that sort of thing. But I've always had a good work ethic. And so I'd worked my way up in the corporate world to a pretty good salary. Never finished college, but I worked my way up to a high salary. And but I realized that I was spending more time with pictures of my kids than the real thing. And I looked at my boss, I looked at his boss, I looked at her boss, and, they were all making more money, but they were all more miserable than I was. And so that was my future, and I didn't like that. And so, I just looked at being, going out on my own, starting my own business. And so I went into real estate, which did really, really well until the market changed, and then it didn't. And I got wiped out totally. So I lost every single dime I'd ever made my entire life, and was in personal foreclosure, dead broke. Along the way, I had attempted to do some network marketing companies. And, I didn't know what I was doing. There were some things that I was okay at, but I didn't really get it. And so I failed in a bunch of different companies until there I was, got invited to a home meeting and just decided to throw everything I had at it and became the #1 income earner in that company. And then from there built our coaching and training business. So now we've worked with, quite a few big leaders in the network marketing space. I just today actually got asked to keynote at a network marketing company event in New York in October. And so we're excited about that. And so now we're just, my wife and I, we sold our network marketing position, which is kind of cool that you can even do that, right? It's an actual business. And so now we're focused on just coaching and training the professionals as a whole, and fired up.
Nice. Very cool. So one thing I did hear you say was you attempted network marketing at a point where, maybe your mindset wasn't there, you weren't ready, but have you joined have you been in more than one company? Was your first one the success, or how did that look in your horizon? Because a lot of our members, are trying to find their niche, and, it's good to hear that it may take a couple swings or a couple at bats.
Sure. So yeah, my very first, and this will probably sound sad actually, but my very first network marketing company was February of 2006. I joined that company. I wasn't very coachable, and I didn't get around the right people. And I also had kind of a weird upline that didn't like me doing videos and me trying to do online stuff. And so they kind of wagged their finger at me a little too much. And, I never created anything that lasted over there. I did recruit a few people, but never made a bunch of money or anything like that. And so in the span of February 2006 to July of 2009, I think I was in and out of maybe 11 companies.
Oh.
And had never, I think my very best month ever was like $2,000, but majority of them was $0. And then July 2009 is when I really decided to take it seriously and go all in. And that's the company that became the #1 income earner. And so it was probably about 12 times the charm. I'm not saying that's the right way, but that is my history. And, Mark Yarnell says there's a big difference between 1 10-year career and 10 one-year careers. So I'm not saying to join a whole bunch of different deals, but that was part of my history.
Yeah. So after the dozenth company, you decided that you found your right niche and you didn't give up. You persevered and you went through these struggles, even of $0 months, which is interesting to hear from such a high level, trainer and earner right now, that people must realize they can get there. Like it just one step, one foot in front of the other, and doing, being coachable by the proper people. And we feel that you're pretty much the highest up there in the network marketing space. And that's interesting because you're not in network marketing. And I think you've made a very, very wise move there, because now you can help many people. But OSP also does the same kind of thing, right? We're not participating. We want to serve the industry. But what really compelled you in the transition, from being a network marketer to this superstar mega trainer that you are?
Well, I don't want to jump in, but I do want to jump in because there was something there. Like, hold on to that question, Joel. But you said in 2009. So was that the correlation? That was life's defining moment. Something, is that when the market went down and you were in? It was these. You were doing real estate as well as network marketing for those 11 companies. Then life was like, we're really going to test you, Ray, and stressed you out to I know you have children, married. I mean, I can only empathize as a father and a husband, that you're like, I got to make it happen. And so can you feel into that for a second? It was 2009 that you were like, number 12 is it, but it was just the one that was probably there and it gave you chance, gave you hope.
Yeah. And great observation. So 2008, but toward the end of 2008 is when really my life just got turned upside down. Me and a partner had rental properties. He had to bail. We couldn't rent stuff for what we used to be able to. So now what used to make $100 a door was now costing us money. No one was getting financing. And so all the deals that I relied on to close weren't closing. And so it was not easy. Got beat up really, really hard. So I would say for about a year, I was just kind of in a spiritual, mental, drinking funk. I was drinking heavily and I just wanted my woes to go away. And I, was hoping for things to get better versus me try to get better. And, my girlfriend at the time, because I'd gone through a divorce as well. My girlfriend at the time was paying my utility bills. She was working at the Nordstrom makeup counter and paying my utility bills. And fortunately for me, she stuck around, and that's now my wife, Jessica, who teaches social media recruiting. Yeah. And so, by the time July 2009 rolled around, I had been in a funk for about a year. And, I was just sick of it, man. I was sick of looking at my bank account and feeling like a loser and just reflecting on, hey, at one point I'd had something, right? I'd had charisma or energy or something. Something was happening in the past and it hadn't been happening for a year. And so, I went to Jess and I just said, hey, I got to change. And I said, the next 2 years are going to be hell. I'm going to be on the phone nonstop. You've never seen me in this kind of mode. We're not going to be able, not that we were doing anything romantic because we couldn't afford it, but I said, we're not going to do a lot of cool stuff together. I'm going to be working my face off, and it's probably going to take me 2 years. And, a lot of times you hear people that they start their network marketing journey and, they're like 30,000 in debt or, whatever. I mean, I was over $1 million. So I was over $1 million in debt, not just one foreclosure, but multiple. And so, I stopped. I just started ignoring my mailbox and I stopped opening the bills because I couldn't do anything about it. And I just started focusing on reaching out to people, connecting with people. And just every time I thought about how bad my life was, I picked up the phone and I just had to make it happen. And so I was combining marketing by doing blog videos and, things like that to attract people to me, but that wasn't working in the beginning. And so I had to use the phone a lot in the beginning until there was kind of a bell curve of when leads actually did start coming in, and I didn't have to hustle as hard as I used to. And that's really what happened.
You were at the forefront of this online kind of marketplace, especially in the space that we're talking about. And, you had your doubters at the time, in your older space, but now, I mean, I'm sure it feels good to say how right we have been, that online is an important part. Now, not every part. And I think that's part of what you do as a speaker and a trainer, that you've transitioned from network marketing to this role, because there is this connection of being a normal person, being genuine, learning how to present, learning how to sell, learning how to talk, but also mixing that online, part of the business to allow you exposure, to allow you to create new opportunities. So, as that transition occurred, what was the defining moment that made you say, I'm done being a number one income earner and I'm going to take this open up to everyone, and kind of like how you ended up here for the most part?
Yeah. It wasn't as straightforward as that. In 2013, we were the top number one income earners of that company. And, we had been getting more and more demands. So there were more and more people saying, hey, will you teach my team? Will you teach my team and do this, do that? And, so we were feeling that and liking it. We like doing that kind of stuff of attempting to raise the profession and all that. And then the company that we were with actually merged into another company, and, which we promoted for, 2 or 3 more years. But there were a couple things. One, we realized that there is a scarcity mindset inside of network marketing, in that there are some leaders that even if your information works and is effective and is awesome, if they know that you're in a network marketing company, they won't promote you. And so we realized that, and that wasn't the major part. But the other part was we had created such a demand, and now we had clients and we had companies we're speaking for, that we weren't showing up in the way that we really like to for our team. And so we've been, same team since July 2009 and growing that. And so we didn't feel like we were serving our team as good as we could. We didn't feel like we were serving the profession as good as we could. And, we just didn't like that division there. And so, we decided let's hone in on this. We actually sold our network marketing position to our upline, who is 100% focused to that company and that team. And so we knew that they were in good hands. We'd been with them for, since 2009. And so it was better for the team. We're still very good friends with all the leaders over at that, the old company, and still friends. I mean, they came to my birthday party. I've been to their birthday parties. So, I still get invited on, company trips and stuff like that. So we very amicably, but we just saw it as the profession as a whole, and that we felt wasn't being filled in the manner that we could fill it. And so that's really the different circumstances there.
You became tunnel visioned and hyper focused on one major passion and skill set that you could bring to the marketplace. So you didn't just do many things okay, you're doing one thing fantastically great. And that's awesome. And I think you being a leader in the online space, in the video creation and in your content, in your emails. And I think that attracted a lot of these network marketing leaders, to want to be like Ray Higdon, to want to do what Ray does, and kind of introduced you into the speaking role and trainer that you are. So, in terms of tools and technologies, what are you seeing as key for network marketers today? Because you were ahead of the curve years ago. You were ahead of that bell curve, and now, we're in the middle of it. What do you think is coming up in terms of what people need to be plugged into?
Yeah, and I'm certainly not the technological guru. Like I don't know how to do a website, or I don't know much around technology. But what I do understand that is probably not stressed enough is I understand psychology, and so I understand what gets people to move. I understand what prevents people from taking action, et cetera. And so that I think helps us in our training aspect. As far as tools, Facebook Live is obviously a big game changer, and there's a lot of people. For you back just a few years ago, for you to get 100 people on any kind of live, quite the effort, right? Unless you had a large following, quite the effort. And we have lots of clients and lots of people that we see that get hundreds and hundreds on a Facebook Live. Nowadays, the social media as a whole, we say is the best thing that ever happened in network marketing, but it's also the worst thing. In that 30 years ago, if someone was just a terrible networker, they could only cause so much damage, right? They could only, 6 or 7 of their friends in their town would be like, oh God, here comes that guy, right? Or here comes the lady with the stuff, right? So there's only like 6 or 7 people turned off, and that was it. Well, now your worst networker has at least 200 followers, 100 followers. And if they're spammy, hypey, just blatant about, making promises or guarantees or income claims or anything like that, then they're not just hurting themselves, they're hurting the profession, they're hurting the team, the company, the product, the service, opportunity, et cetera. And so, we think that helping people do social media the right way is one of the biggest levers that we can help with improving the profession. Everyone complains about, people have a negative stigma about network marketing. It's because we deserve it. We earned it. And it's because there's a lot of people out there hypey, spammy, making promises, surprise dinner, whiteboard attacks, and, hey, I got Tony on the line with me, and just like surprising people and deceptive and whatever. And it's because these people aren't forced to go through a standardized training or get certification or anything like that, ongoing credits or anything like that. And so you got people who were never an entrepreneur before, now they can cause maximum damage. And so someone was filing papers, Wednesday, and Thursday they got a business, they're an entrepreneur, and they've seen Shark Tank and they're fired up, but they're doing things wrong. And so social media it's just like a non-negotiable now for you to learn proper ways of doing social media. We like Facebook Live, but one problem with Facebook Live is it's very, very short term. I'm very grateful that I didn't grow up on Facebook Live. I grew up on blogging, which is much more longer term for us. So we do Facebook Lives, and we do them almost every single day because they are a great tool. However, if that's all you're doing, then you're not going to build up residual soldiers that are working for you. And so, when's the last time you got a comment on a, 7-day-old Facebook Live, ever, right? Unless you're driving ads, and you may be, but we get, 20, 30,000 hits a month to our website of 5-year-old blog posts. And so, it's more of a residual way for us to put soldiers in the street as far as, the Google Play area, and attract people to us on an ongoing basis. And so still love blogging. I still think it makes a whole lot of sense. Content creation through whatever means that you like. Some people like podcasts, some people like Facebook Live, but providing educational value is very, very smart. And I don't know, as far as other tools and things, I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, so I think that kind of goes back to the fact that we feel you're one of the best at putting yourself in the shoes of the buyer or, the end user, and reverse engineering it using not just, the blogging and your content, to drive the traffic, but also, the psychology of where they're at right now, and then educating people that it's more than just having a good website. You need to understand where you're going and why you're going there. And, because you're so far ahead of the curve, and we still believe that you are ahead of the curve, and we like what you're doing in your new group training, which we'll talk about shortly. We had a couple of our members, submit some questions because they may not get the privilege of sitting down with, Mr. Ray Higdon themselves. And one of the questions that we got repetitively was, if you can go back in time, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? And I'm sure you've answered this question on other interviews because it is a good question. What would you do to save yourself some of the hassle?
Yeah, the big thing, there probably, there's a couple of things I would say. One, think bigger, faster. When I was 20, either 19 or 20, I was going to yard sales, and I was going to, like Walmart clearance aisles. And I was, I had, 2 very young kids at that point. And so I'm buying like toys and reselling them. I remember one of my favorites was, the Star Wars Lego figures. So, I don't know why, but for some reason, right around that age, Walmart had these 3 packs of Stormtroopers for 90 cents. And I was selling them for $8 each on eBay. And I don't know why, but I found like this like loophole, right? And so I'm buying hundreds of these 90-cent Stormtroopers and selling them for $27 or whatever that comes out to, $24 each. And because there's 3 in a box. And so, I was doing things like that, like entrepreneur-ish, but just not thinking very big, So if I made $50, profit or $100 profit for the week, I was just like, yeah, I'm the man, and I wasn't ever around many entrepreneurs. My mom wasn't an entrepreneur. Dad was an entrepreneur. No one in my family entrepreneur. And so I just wasn't around many entrepreneurs. And so I would say, think bigger, faster. I would say, invest in myself sooner. So if I look at my real estate career, I read my first book on real estate, April 2004. By June of 2004, I had a triplex. And, me and a partner were working on this and renting it out and, fixing the holes in the wall and all that stuff. And so, I read my way to doing, pretty good in real estate. Probably sold maybe 200 houses, as an investor and that kind of thing. But I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I really didn't. I was making it happen, but I wasn't prepared for when the market turned. Now, if I had invested in myself and got around the right people, then I would have, recognized, oh, I should be doing things a little differently now. And, oh, I should plan for this kind of thing. Because some of my friends did quite fine. They were smarter, and they were hanging around people that had more experience than I did. And I was so reluctant to spend my money on training because I had a self-worth issue. And so when I started really investing in myself, which, really came on in 2013, when I started started investing in high-end coaching and masterminds and things like that, that's when we really skyrocketed. And so, now every single year we look at, okay, where are we investing our money? So I don't look at, okay, when can I finally stop buying stuff, or when can I finally stop getting coaches? I'm like, who am I hiring next? And so we're constantly hiring mentors, coaches, joining masterminds, and getting around people that are smarter and been there, done that. And those are probably the two major things I would tell myself: invest in yourself sooner, and think bigger, faster.
That's awesome. Ray, Darren Hardy talks about, just correlating to what you just said, he talks about taking 3% of your income and investing it in yourself. And he says it's easy, it's easy to do when you're making 100 grand, or not, it's never easy, but he said taking 3,000 and investing in yourself. And he's like, imagine making $1 million or 10 million. He says that every year he's reinvested that amount of money in himself, and every year he's done better. And so it's a testament to that statement so much, is that I have a training call I do in the mornings. I say, invest in yourself. It's the only place you can guarantee a positive return. And so it's that sort of mindset, but it's good to see it. So I want to jump back in real quick.
Just to kind of, cause I like these kind of math kind of things. This year, our company, right, is on pace for 5 million, and we've invested 276,000 so far. And I can't say it that way, because some of it extends past today. So we've invested 276. So what is that, about 5%? I think, yeah.
5%. Well, the year's it's gonna keep going, hockey stick this year. So that's fantastic. I love everything that's happening, but I obsess about the action, and I want to just pull you back a little bit, back to 2009 again, to where you were, and you had the conversation with Jessica, and you're like, next 2 years are going to be tough. And so what we have for online sales pros, we're blessed to have over 50,000 users, 50,000 customers have come through our front door. Last audit, we have over 200. I got to stop saying 200, because this was like a while ago, but over 200 different network marketing and small businesses represented, from users, from direct sales, network marketing, real estate, insurance, mortgages, so different entrepreneurs, and then over 140 different countries. So we've got a nice reach. And I like to always just ask top earners about their actionable processes. And I know to the actions of today, they're similar to where they were in the past, but you never want to fall into management mode, but you're always looking for prospects. You're always looking for new customers. But back in 2009, where you were and a lot of our users are, because a lot of our users are just brand new, excited, ambitious entrepreneurs, but are lacking that direction or specific actionable processes at which they can act on. Are there some things, or some things you did back then, or some things that, you learned later years that you would have done back then? Just what are a couple little daily processes or actionable tips for leads, or different things that you can maybe share with some of our growing audience?
Sure. So, it's people tend to overcomplicate it. And so, if you look at building a business, there are really two main categories when it comes to action, and that's marketing and that's prospecting. So marketing is passive. So you create a video, a blog post, a status update, an ad, a drop card, a flyer, or whatever. You're doing something you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to. So, you're putting it out there, online or offline. You're hoping someone raises their hand, messages you, calls you, clicks it, comments, whatever, right? So you're hoping for a reaction. So it's passive. Prospecting is you reaching out to an individual, online, offline, cold market, warm market, and you creating a conversation. And so I knew that, with 4 years in a totally different industry of real estate, I knew that, I'm not, my marketing for, like network marketing, which by the way, you don't have to do it the way that I did it, but my marketing of anything other than real estate was going to take some time. Like I knew that. So I knew my guess, and I told my wife, 2 years, I didn't know that by following the action steps that I'll share with you here, that I would be at 10,000 a month in 5 months, 40,000 a month in 7 months, 50,000 a month in 10 months. And so I didn't know that, right? So we got out of, debt faster than I thought, which is great. And so I understood that my marketing was not going to be fast. And I think that's one of the big mistakes that people make is I think that, they're like, I'll try this marketing out for 7 days. And I can just tell you, if you're going to try marketing out for 7 days, just don't even bother. Like, just go get a steak dinner or something, or do anything, work out for 7 days, do sit-ups or something, because it ain't going to work. And so I was dedicated to, I'm going to do this process in marketing, and I'm going to do it until. And there was no date. Like, it's just like, if 2 years had passed by and I still hadn't made it happen, well, I guess we're signing up for another extension of our contract, right? And so I just knew that if I constantly on a daily basis pumped out content, education, value to a particular marketplace, that, like the Steve Martin quote, be so good they can't ignore you. Right. And so that was my mission. And another quote from Jason Fried is out teach your competition. And so, that's what I wanted to do. However, I knew I couldn't live off that. I knew that would not produce enough results for me to feed my family and me to feed myself. And so I had to mix in the active art of prospecting. And so prospecting, again, is reaching out to an individual, online, offline, cold market, warm market, cold market being people you don't know, warm market, friends and family, people you do know, right? And so I had read a book called Go for No. And this book, for me at the time, it just totally resonated, made total sense. And so I set a no goal. I wanted to get 20 no's every day before my head hit the pillow. And so that was a combination of no's from friends and family, from follow-up calls, from reaching out to Facebook, from whatever, you fill in the blank, from every single direction and every nook and cranny. And so I did a piece of content almost every day, blog video usually, and I went for 20 no's every single day. And so if you look at your routine, okay, so your routine should be, ask yourself this, does my daily routine, does it make success inevitable? Now, I believe if I'm selling shoes, ceiling fans, refrigerators, plumbing, if I'm selling freaking anything, and I do a piece of content every day, and I'm getting 20 no's a day, to me, that makes success inevitable, right? It's going to happen. I don't know how fast. I don't know if it's 1 month. I don't know, 6 months, 2 years. I don't know how long, but I don't believe you can do those two things and not create success for almost any length of time. And so that's what I was dedicated to doing. Now, at a point, and it was, probably more around the 5-6 month mark, is I started seeing my marketing was actually working. People started reaching out to me. I remember on month 5, this guy reached out to me and he said, hey, I see that you're in this company, and why should I join you? And I say, well, maybe you shouldn't. Here's what I do. Here's what I don't do. And so I'm always postured, right? I've always had that. Even when I needed money like air to breathe, I was always postured. I wasn't going to beg you, chase you, be desperate, eager. And I learned that in different sales, throughout my life, and learned it in real estate, learned it in, in different things. And so that guy ended up being number one guy in my team, put tens of thousands of people in. He's $1 million a year earner. Some of you may have heard of him, Cedric Harris. But that's a guy, he saw my video, reached out to me. I'd never heard of him. I didn't know who he was. I could tell from his tone that he was a solid dude, but that he came from a video. And, we'd never met. We'd talked on the phone and whatever. And so those are the two main activities. And, as far as those are actions that I was doing every single day. As far as, other things is I was working on my mindset every day. I was, studying, reading a chapter a day. I was, listening to audiobooks, and I still do, I still do all of that stuff. Besides, I don't really, prospect because I'm not, our marketing is, pretty good. And so we don't really prospect. But just so you know, I wanted to make prospecting an option. I knew I would have to buckle up and lace up my shoes and go beat the bushes and go, pound the phone like crazy. But I didn't want that to be my life sentence. And I know some people that's how they think. Like they think that, oh, I'm just gonna have to make calls the rest of my life. I did not want to do that. I wanted to be smarter and figure out ways to get people reaching out to me and figure out crack the code to marketing. And, and that's what we did. As far as prospecting, I mean, I did it all. I did home meetings. I did one-on-ones. I did, I've recruited people from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TripAdvisor, MySpace. I've recruited people.
You had a Pinterest training for a while too, I remember.
What's that?
You had a Pinterest training, I remember at some point in there with good pictures.
Yeah, I really don't know much about Pinterest. maybe I don't know. But yeah, and the two questions that people ask me is, well, where'd you find the 20 no's a day? And what did you consider a no? Well, I considered a no. So if someone didn't call me back, that's not a no. They didn't tell me no. I just have to, be smart, leave them a different kind of message, see if they do call back. A no is someone who wasn't open to taking a look at the tool or the presentation, or someone who saw the presentation and said, no way, Jose, not for me. So those were no's. And as far as finding people, a lot of times I was getting a no from someone that I'd already gotten a no from. I'll give you one example. There's a guy that told me no, I think 5 times, maybe 6 times, but became a 6-figure earner, and that's Steve Krivda. So some people know, Steve, super nice guy, and crushing in what he does, and does coaching and all kinds of other stuff. But he had told me no at least 5 times, maybe 6. And so some of my no's were from the same people, but I was going to get the 20 no's, and I didn't care. Now the cool thing about to finish up the Go for No story is, I've been sharing this kind of story for years and years and years. And the Go for No authors came to me about a year ago and said, hey, you talk about us all the time. We love you. Your story's amazing. Will you collaborate with us and do a book? And we did. We did a book called Go for No for Network Marketing. And that's been selling like freaking crazy. And, it's just been really neat and awesome.
Nice.
Fantastic. So wait, so the 20 no's were just either you're doing online prospecting, you're asking for referrals through family and friends, I'm sure no one's above talking to a waitress when you're getting started in your network marketing business, and you're just finding people who are interested in what it is that you have to offer, whether it's your products or your services. So,
I was sending messages, I was, calling people back. It was just nonstop, and it was just nonstop. Who can I talk to? I didn't care. If I'm dropping off dry cleaning, I'm going to talk to the person. And I did it, I think the thing to stress here is I didn't spend a ton of time with each prospect. I didn't say, oh, you're looking lovely today. I'm not learning their family history, and I'm not spending a ton of time with them. I was just like, hey, I seem like a sharp individual, and I'm just throwing it out there, and maybe I'll sound crazy and maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree, but would you be at all open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? And they might say no, and they might say, well, what is it? And I say, well, I got to jump into this meeting. Tell you what, give me your information. I promise I'll follow up with you. Follow up with them. Hey, here's this presentation. It does a much better job than I could of explaining if this thing's a fit for you or not. And if you're open to it, great. If not, no big deal. And so I was very efficient with my time. I preferred the phone because the phone was faster for me versus going and meeting people and doing meetings and things. Now, I don't bash that because I know people have built, $100 million empires. I mean, one of the guys that attended our last event, Jeff Roberti, he's done $100 million in network marketing and does not know social media, does not know anything technical. He did it all through meetings. And so I don't bash any of that, but I just found that I like hammering out the phone from home.
It worked for you. That's awesome.
So getting a no obviously is not a fear of Ray Higdon. You know, going for no was a goal, definitely not a fear. But Norm Flowers, one of our members, asked, what is your greatest fear? And, you know, I mean, the one that you didn't want to tell the world, and how did you overcome it?
I mean, I'll give you the back then, and then I'll give you the now. All right. Sure. So the back then was that my biggest fear back then was I had a fear that people would find out that that I wasn't worthy of what I was accomplishing. And so I've had a complex from my stepmom was very abusive. I mean, most mornings I was woken up by being grabbed by my ankles and thrown against a closet and stomped. And so that was only from 3 to 12, so not too bad, right? And so I can joke about it now, but I've always had at least in the past, worthy issues of I would go and do things, but play a little small because I didn't think that that would really fit me and little old me. So that was back then. What became my fear is the word that I'm looking for. Eric just asked me this, and I just told him this. Complacency. So my biggest fear now is complacency. Like we don't have to work to pay our bills. We don't have to work we really don't have to show up much at all because we have a lot of different, funnels. We have a lot of different clients. We have people that every time I go to an event, there's people that hire us for, large amounts. We get flown out to events and paid speaker fees and all that stuff. So, we never have to hustle. We no longer have to hustle to live a pretty good lifestyle. However, if I just say, okay, we made it, we're at whatever million a year, then that's going to cap the number of people that I ever impact. And that's a fear of mine. That's a fear that I won't really tap into my potential and that I'll become complacent and say, this is the best I can do when I don't think we're even scratching the surface. I think that there's millions of more people that need to be impacted, that could use our value, that could use help, that could use uplifting and hope and inspiration. And so I pick on earners that have been at $1 million a year for multiple years. I'm like, what's wrong? When did you stop caring about impacting people, man? Shape up. And so we do help people that are brand new in the profession, but we also do help people that have maybe from other people's standards made it. And so we just think that if you have the capacity to hear this kind of training or reach a certain income, then you have the capacity to reach a whole lot more. And I've seen people that have amazing stories of overcoming obstacles and challenges and punches to the face, kicks to the shin. Those stories need to be told, but they'll only be told once you overcome them. And so we want to continue to impact more people, which should lead to more profits, which should lead to bigger income, because that's just kind of how it works. The more value you put in the marketplace, the more you should take home. And so I'd say complacency is something that does drive us, in that we don't have to do the work. We want to do the work, and we know why we want to do the work.
Nice.
It's almost like how big can we get? Unrealized potential. Like what can we do? How big could we make this? And that's an exciting thing, because I mean, I know a lot of our people sit there and they go, I'm just trying to make my first $20. And so it's like, it's an opposite end of the spectrum, but it's for people to realize that Ray and Eric and Tony and Bob and all these people that have walked this path, though, they all had, I mean, a lot of people will sit and they'll go, I'd love to have Ray's life. He's doing well. He's got, he's got a great family, building the house, right? But not everyone would trade positions for the pain and struggle and stress and sleepless nights and heartache and hair rip and just the massive amounts of stress that you faced for years. Like people and so it's easy for people to want and to think like, oh, that's great for him. But like what I want our users to take home is like, Ray's gone through hell. Like that's like, it looks great now. I mean, it's like, the building's standing, but the earth had to get churned up with some dynamite in order to make that building, to create that foundation. And so thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. So we got one other question that was asked by our members that will lead us right into what you're doing now. And I think that's unique and that's exciting to talk about. But in your experience, of training thousands of entrepreneurs, and top incrementers, you have mentors yourself and you work with them and they probably train you as much as you train them. But what are the three characteristics that you would, say is unique that sets apart these top incrementers from other people that don't make it there?
Yeah. I would say, people that create massive success, they don't stay down for long. And so I think what others may think, and I used to think this way, right? I used to think that, once you reach a certain income level, then everything's a bowl of cherries or whatever. But, the difference is, the person that is going to struggle to create success will take the punch to the face, right? They'll their laptop is stolen. The person that was their number one leader will leave. Their company will fold or whatever, right? They'll take the punch to the face. They'll stay down for a long time. And what you'll find is, we had just 2 months ago, we found out that a trusted employee of ours, someone who held my baby daughter, who'd been in my house, we had actually helped raise money for her charity, all kinds of stuff, had stolen $60,000 from us, right? And so that is not fun. And for about 4 seconds, I was just like, wow, that really sucks, and that's unfortunate. And okay, well, what is it? What can I learn from that? And so it literally was. It wasn't even a day where I'm sad face and eating ice cream. It was, okay, that does suck. I am human, right? I'm not a automaton droid or something, but sucks. What can I learn from this? And so I'm actually very grateful for it, because it helped us learn that we had holes in our accounting and financials that would allow a leak like that would allow something like that to go unnoticed for a year, right? Because it'd been small amounts every month for a year. And so I think people that don't succeed, they stay down for longer. People that don't succeed, they also look at what's fair. And so they will, they talked to Sally, and Sally ended up joining Tony instead. And so they will spend weeks of mental energy, all about Sally and how dare her and who else am I losing? And they'll spend so much time on the slightest of incidences. And, today I was on, I won't say the name, but today I was on with, one of our coaching clients. And he's like, Ray, man, I'm having this problem. And, I got this lady that, she paid $100 and, and she got billed for the second payment, which she'd agreed to. Now she's saying she didn't, and she's raising all kinds of hell. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Give her the damn money back and stop losing money in your head. And, be very protective of this energy right here. And what are you doing? You gotta, even if she's got armor piercing bullets, you need to be wearing adamantium clothing. And so, you have to be very protective of your energy. And so instead of looking for, what's right or what's fair or what should happen, deal with the hand you were, dealt, and play those cards and play them as best as you can. The 2 words that I suggest people really embrace, that people of success just do, whether they know this terminology or not, the 2 words are until and despite. I was going to do that marketing and that prospecting until it worked. I wasn't testing. I wasn't dipping my toe in the water. I wasn't saying, oh, you know what, I'll see if this thing works and I'll try something else in 11 days. Or, I've had people where, like we had 14-day trial offers or something, and I'll try it for 13 days. Don't even bother trying it. Don't even bother. Just save $4 or $5 or buy a hoagie. And so, it's until I'm going to do this until it freaking works, until my life turns around, until I start impacting tens of thousands of people, until just the mountains are moved that are in front of me right now. The word despite means I'm going to do it knowing there's going to be punches to the face, knowing there's going to be people rip me off, knowing there's going to be people not give me credit, talk behind my back, knowing people are going to steal from me, knowing all these things. I'm going to do it despite those things. And those are the two words of the champion. The champion embraces those two words. And those are really, if you think about all the language we could talk about, those are really the two words: until and despite. Until I know it's not going to happen overnight, because there's a lot of people going dead broke trying to get rich quick, right? I know it's not going to happen overnight. And then I know there's going to be obstacles, and bring it on. We're going to make it happen. And I would say that those are the main key differences that I can think of between someone who succeeds, someone who doesn't.
So you have high level coaching clients that, pay, maybe a lot of money. I don't know your price points, but to get into this high level, that's where a lot of these, speakers and trainers live. And I get it, because, we focus on quality versus quantity all the time and right price points. But what you're doing right now in the marketplace is really interesting to me, because, you're making it affordable for people to have access to a leadership such as yourself, that, the same leadership maybe I would pay $25,000 or $50,000 for to be coached by Ray Higdon. People can actually get into your new thing called Rank Makers for a very low starting point. They can get exposed to you, your information, your group. Tell us about, because you're ahead of the curve always. We think that this is one of those things that you're utilizing Facebook and social media in a way where people are comfortable at a price point where it's affordable, but you're getting very top high level education there. Like, what brought you to that, and how could our members learn more about that? Because I encourage everyone to partake in this program with you. And we don't get people on, and it's not an affiliate pitch for Ray Higdon. This is, we want you to be paired up with the right people. And we believe that Rank Makers right now is one of the clear, cut leaders in our space.
Well, I really appreciate that. Like anything that we've done, we do things to address holes in the marketplace. And so, when we launched, let's say, we have Cold Market Recruiting Blueprint, and that's a course that teaches tonality and what words to say to prospects, because we felt there was, there wasn't a combination. Like I'm not aware of anyone that's taught tonality in network marketing until, we started a few years ago. Things like differentiation, which hadn't been taught, tonality hadn't been taught, the real meaning of the word posture. Like there's a lot of things that we felt were holes in the marketplace that, that we filled. And so, Rank Makers really does a couple things. It is our community that is solely designed to help people rank advance. It's solely designed to help people get more customers, get more reps, make more money in their network marketing company. And it is not an affiliate program. You don't get in there and I say, okay, now go tell, tell 5. So you bucks, right? I'm not doing that. And there's no disrespect to anything that does that. We just didn't want to have, we wanted zero confusion on what the mission of that is. And our, anything that you do, you should have what they call a BHAG, right? A big, hairy, audacious goal. And so we actually have 2, and that's to make it the highest producing group inside the network marketing profession, period. The one that's getting more customers, more reps, more rank advancements than any other individual group in any company in the profession. And number 2, for a rank maker to be crossing stage at every company event, no matter what company it is. And so those are our 2 big hairy goals. And we've been making it happen. So in there I go live in that group every single day, where I provide a piece of training based on the feedback and the energy of the group. So sometimes I'm sharing, hey guys, if you get I don't have the money, here's how I overcome that, right? Or sometimes it's, you guys are struggling with posture, and posture is the belief in what you have, regardless of external acceptance or approval. And so, if I come to you and I say, hey, you know what, I was on WikiLeaks last night and, it turns out electricity is a scam. You'd be like, yeah, you're nuts, right? Because you have posture around electricity. You don't need me to say, yeah, electricity is real or not. You have posture. I'm a wackadoodle if I say that. But if I say that about network marketing and you don't know me, it might shake your belief, because not everyone has the kind of posture that I have for network marketing. So I've seen it work personally. I've seen it work second hand, third hand, et cetera, and so forth. And so a lot of times we're teaching posture, how to respond to people on social media when they don't respond to you, or how when you say, hey, have you ever thought about making extra money? And they give you a thumbs up, right? How do you respond to that in a postured, powerful way that actually raises their curiosity more than resistance to make them want to look at what it is that you have to offer? And so we provide very, very detailed training on a daily basis with an action step, and we have contests, and we have pins. Like we just actually today we finished a little promotion where if you had rank advanced in the last, since joining Rank Makers, we actually send out a free lapel pin. It's pretty cool. It says Rank Makers on it, and that's, we produce it, we ship it. It's no cost to you. That's just what we do. But yeah, it's where we teach culture, leadership, recruiting, closing, prospecting, et cetera. And it's a safe zone. We prevent people from prospecting other people, and we boot them if they break the rules. But it is where we see this is our focus, and this is where we see the most movement. On Sunday, our Rank Makers prospected 794 people. Let's see, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had in a Saturday and Sunday, we had 2,300 people prospected, and we had these little contests and little awards and things like that to get people out of their comfort zone. And so, right now it is actually on a waiting list, but you can get on that if you wanted to at rayhigdon.com/rankmakers, rayhigdon.com/rankmakers. We wanted to make it just a no-brainer, so we're not looking to, kill you with price or whatever. It's $19 a month, no contract. If you get in there and on day 4, you don't think it's the best group you've ever been a part of, then just reach out to support. We'll refund it for you. But I think you're really going to get the gist of it and be like, holy cow, this is amazing. Or we also have a lifetime option, and we actually have a special tomorrow on the lifetime option, and then it goes up Thursday, Friday. But yeah, we try to make it affordable. We try to make it reasonable, and just massive, massive value, massive archive of training, but also simple. We don't want to overwhelm you with 52 steps every day. We literally give you one action step a day that will progress you towards your network marketing goals.
So if people join this group, and guys, everyone in OSP, if you're in the network marketing profession and you want this kind of group community that you love with OSP, Ray Higdon has this set up for you to get guidance from a top level trainer. And it's $19 a month. Get on the waiting list. Like, at least do yourself a favor. Go to rayhigdon.com / right, Rank Makers, and Grady will pin that in the comments, and at least join the waiting list. Don't join it if you're not intent on signing up when you do get access, right? But make a decision today to do something that can help your business. And like he said, just like OSP, if it didn't work for you, whatever, he's not interested in your $19. It's more of a cost of entry to make sure you take things seriously. Right. And, you give someone a free tape back in the day, right? No one even has cassettes anymore. Free tape, they throw it in their car. You charge them even $1, they stick it in and at least listen to it, right? So these are the facts. And Ray Higdon is a leader in this group community, in this speaker, community training. I know he has a higher level mastermind that a few of our clients actually have asked me about, that I don't know if you're open or if you're taking on clients. I told them it's probably, talk to you. That's not my deal. But I will be forwarding a couple people's info to them, your info, so they can get involved in that. But guys, rayhigdon.com / What's that?
It's not 19 a month.
No, it's probably like 25, 50. I don't even know. But I do know that that we're even interested in that too. So we talk about that later. So but guys, do yourself a favor, take some action. This is someone that we like and trust and believe in as well, or he wouldn't be on here. And I really feel that you can do yourself, a favor to take your business to the next level. If you want that lapel pin, and I hope you get it, right? And if you want to join this group and be around other people that have those same goals, please go do so, because there's not many safe zones that we would feel comfortable promoting or telling people to go join other than our own, right? And this is one of them. So if you're on the fence, join the list, get the information, buy the lifetime access tomorrow if it becomes available to you with the special, and take advantage of that and see if this is something that can really help your business. And I mean, you got any You got any final words for our members?
Let me just comment on real quick. There was Norm Flowers has jumped on the list. Curry Russell is on the list for all of you guys who are on Curry Russell's team. Good to see Marion Allen's already jumped on the list. Awesome. But so get on Rank Makers. This seems like a community I would be leading the charge for my whole team to be a part of something. But in addition to that, as I said in the open, I've been a blog or a email list subscriber of Ray's probably since 2011. And I've watched this guy go through all kinds of stuff. I remember when you left YouTube. I remember that whole situation, that whole nonsense. And so Ray's just been, he's been this was just a treat for me to see him go through marketing and prospecting, talking about passive and active marketing. And he believes in his work. He works his craft. He makes a plan. He makes a plan and works his plan. But on his website, rayhigdon.com, he has 29 sources for leads. Yep. Go on there. They're free leads. And I might have taken those leads one or two times and done a training up from Ray's lead sources. But it's a fantastic 29 sources to get leads now. He's got an MP3 and so go on there and get on his list because he puts out daily excellent content. And he also has his beautiful wife, Jessica, is a fantastic trainer on social media. She's got a Facebook training course on how to generate leads locally. I mean, they've got you some fantastic products. And the reason is because they work. That's the big secret. They work constantly. They're always looking at what's in the market. They're working with great people, and they're taking that information that they acquire and putting it together in a simple manner for us to acquire it. So get on Rank Makers and go to rayhigdon.com and join his email list. It is such good content coming out every single day. So
appreciate that.
Mr. Ray Higdon, we really appreciate your time. Hope to have maybe you on another future call or something after some of our members get involved, see some success that I know they will. And guys, rayhigdon.com/rankmakers. It's pinned. Click it. Join the list, right? Well, after you've joined it, let us know. Maybe we'll give away some swag or, we'll do something for the people that take advantage of following our lead, because that's where you're going to find success. So Ray, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. I know our members. Send Ray out with some love, give him some hearts, some likes. Thank you, Ray. And we'll, until next time, we will stay in contact about maybe us joining your private mastermind, and we can discuss all those things also.
You got it, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Guys. Keep rocking.
Thank you, Ray. How cool is that, Grady?
It's the coolest, man. It's fantastic. It was good seeing. I mean, we get in situations where I don't want to. I always make this word up, like pedestalize or like put someone up there, like they're just bigger, or I mean, even sometimes as personal belief, like they're above us. And the reality is, Ray is just an absolute normal guy who had problems and challenges and found a solution and enacted on that potential solution and worked at it every single day until the solution became real. And he solved his problems. And now he's gone on through his experience of, guys, he was just a simple network marketer. Not even
6-7 years ago. Like, he has completely changed his brand, his image, his price point, his training, everything. And it's fantastic. But guys, I took notes. I take notes. I'm no dummy, right? Did you? What I liked is that he attempted, there you go, Grady, nice work, man. He attempted 11 different network marketing companies before he found his success, right? He listened to the marketplace. We're always, have our ear on the street as well to understand what you guys need and want, because listening to your marketplace and focusing on what you're really good at is a must if you want to find success. We talked about marketing and prospecting and the differences there. I have some notes on that. I hope you do too. And I like the 3 things that successful people are doing. And this guy's coached thousands of people, right? He's spoken in front of probably hundreds, if not millions of people, and hundreds of thousands, not just hundreds. And he says that people that have success, they don't stay down for very long, right? They understand what fair is, and they don't complain about fairness, and they don't worry about those things. And that whole until and despite conversation, you need to go listen to that again if you didn't fully comprehend that, because that's powerful stuff. And, to have such a high income earner and just a guy that really wants to help people, available for us in our community and to hop on and do the training. You know, it was fantastic. It was great. It was everything that it was made up to be. It's funny that he talked about one of his mentors, Mr. Cedric Harris. I just got confirmation that he will be on our Facebook Live, I believe, next Friday. But next Tuesday, we have Bob, right? You're on mute.
Yes, next Tuesday we have Bob Heilig, who's the next. I think like what's kind of cool is Bob Heilig, John and Nadia Melton, Ray Higdon. They all run in circles. Bob. I'm not sure if Bob is still practicing in the industry, but he had tremendous success and has now gone on to be a coach. I mean, that's something you could
also left. I mean, I think John and Nadia spoke about that. I think they were partners or teammates, and then he also now is focusing on, you know, on the training aspect. But we'll hear more about that later. Don't want to take away from today's show with Ray, because it was what a lot of you needed to hear, right? You know, and it was the same things we talk about, honestly, but a different story from a different person. And what you will find is the consistency in the people that find success. It's never this straight line and then straight up, right? It's they got punched in the face. They got kicked in the gut. They were beaten while they were down, and they stood back up, they wiped it off, and they said, it's time to get going again. And maybe that's where you're at. Maybe that's what you needed. I hope it helped you, but we really appreciate it. And guys, you know, we still have some updates to do. We still have some other things as part of our show that we like to do, but we also want to keep this call, you know, as concise as possible. But that training will be found in your back office here in the next 24, 48 hours, like we always do. Go find it, go rewatch it. And it's super exciting that we're able to get this kind of caliber talent to support the community and our vision to help you guys grow your business. So, Grady, I don't even know how we follow up Mr. Ray Higdon and the big dogs that we've had on these shows, but it's fun, man. It's fun sitting there talking to these people and realizing they just worked hard. Like, they worked hard, they found their niche, they didn't give up, and they became an expert. And I want to be more like Ray.
Ray's great. That's something that I don't think he didn't go into specifically, but I'm sure the first couple days of phone calls weren't like the last couple days. You know what I mean? If we did his phone calls on a 1,000-day scale, the first 300 days were probably very hard. And then the middle 400, he got very good. And then the last 300, he was just a monster where he could talk to anybody. And so you guys need to look at that for yourselves, as though as you progress on this path, that it's going to be hard in the beginning. You're going to struggle in the beginning. You're going to fail in the beginning. People are going to tell you no a lot. I mean, he talked about his 20 no's and posting content. I mean, two very actionable processes that any single person on here who's committed an entrepreneurial venture can accomplish. And so it's just great to hear him just talk about how he had a tough upbringing. I mean, tough situation. He was on top of the world. He sold over 200 homes. Market takes a dive. He loses everything. Could have crawled under a rock and
was in multiple foreclosures when he decided to set everything aside.
Foreclosures. You when you have multiple houses to get foreclosed on, you think life's pretty darn good. Then a year later, you're losing it all. I mean, this is a man who has not gone through, who didn't have an easy path, but he chose, like many of us, we don't have easy, you know, life is life. Life is an interesting way about beating the hell out of you and seeing if you can keep going. So congratulations to him. And we're proud to support him and proud to have him on here and bring him to you. I don't know, some of you might not have known who he was, but those two things: connect with him and his community on Rank Makers. If you're in the network marketing community and you're looking to get a part with some people that are focused on that, we focus a lot on online marketing.